I want to welcome you to the Healing Place of how to move trapped pain through energy medicine. I've been practicing professional reflexology since 2006, professional energy medicine since 2009, and the past 10 years, I have learned so much through this work. So how I got into this background, into this work, and I used to mention for those people who missed it, unfortunately I had a family situation where my son was sick. The only alternative that I had back then was only traditional medicine. And traditional medicine has its place, but unfortunately it's not an answer to every single scenario. So for those people who was with me last week, did you notice, how did you feel when you were listening to this live chat? Did you notice any pain coming up? Did you feel like something was resonating and started to bother you? And if you did, you know what? That's a great feeling. That tells me your energy, especially the toxin energy, is trying to find its way out of your body. Let me tell you a little bit what is what is trapped energy? Well, most of the time, it all depends on how we process pain. Some of us process it physically, some emotionally, and some of us spiritually. And the spiritual component is through our soul. Where does it land? Have you noticed where your pain lives? I would say most of the clients who come to see me have digestive issues, respiratory issues, and also, I would say hormonal issues. So they live in their second chakras. And then what happens is, and yes, we could have a genetic disposition where we have inherited our DNA from our family. And again, a lot of it has to do with how we feel emotionally. One of the things I noticed when my last job, I worked as an office manager for a small nonprofit organization. It was one of those jobs, as soon as I went for the interview, I noticed, oh my gosh, this place is the energy was so dense, kind of chaotic, and even toxic. And yes, I felt this during my interview. And I'm going on and I'm like, oh my gosh, this feels like a job I had 20 years ago, and all I'm doing is revisiting. So what was happening is I started the job for 2 years and I ended up there for 6.5. And during this time, I was trying really hard to hold my energy so I wouldn't absorb all this negativity. And then what was happening was I ended up getting sick to the point where I was so sick, I came down with flus, bronchitis, what else? I had colds. So my disconnect was emotionally in my heart. So I knew, hi Jenny, I knew for a fact that the energy that I was absorbing was in my heart chakra. So in fact, one of the things I used to say about my place, even though it's funny but not so funny, is that we would fight about everything. The company I worked for was primarily women, so we argue about everything. In fact, if the agenda item of what color toilet paper should ever come up on the agenda, we would fight about what color we should buy. So nothing ever got resolved, and everyone walked away feeling really poorly. So over the years, my body started to become so disconnected, I became very, very ill, to the point where they would name flus after me. And knowing what I know today, I finally realized not only was I physically disconnected, but also emotionally, and also my soul was very, very quiet and did not know what to do. So that's one of the things that I could give as an example. What happens to us when our pain becomes trapped? Well, first of all, I would say our aura, our energy field that's known as an aura, develops holes. These holes, unfortunately, leaks out all of our energy. We can't maintain our energy where it's consistent, so it wobbles back and forth. So a lot of times we're trying to figure out emotionally, where are we? And what happened was we end up being physically, emotionally, and also spiritually drained. And a lot of times too, the way we deal with pain, it all depends on the way we were raised. I would say, I was reading Carolyn Mace. She's one of those books that I read during energy medicine school. We follow a lot of her practices and also her methods of healing. She would say we have so many archetype personalities. Archetypes, people say, what is that? We have every single personality that we see in everyone, the good, the bad, and the indifference. That all lives in us. We have what I call default personalities. We have default personalities, whereas the ones that stands out the most is what I call main personality. So out of the 70 archetypes, we have 12 that we primarily use every single day. Out of the 12 personality, we have what I call 4 survivor energy. So depending on, and each of those 4 surviving energy will dictate how you're going to deal with pressure, your pain, and how you process your emotions. So let me go over some of this. And all of this, again, this is awareness that you need to develop to help you to understand your energy and also to protect your aura, which I will go into just a little bit later. 4 primary energy archetypes are, I would say, the prostitute. We have a prostitute. Every one of us has a prostitute. And people think prostitute is a sexual thing, but it's not. It's what are you willing to give up to get what you want. So think about situations when you're in and you're trying to figure out how you're going to get that. We have what I call a victim energy, and we're all victims at some time, especially when we lose out and we want to win. Unfortunately, we all want to win in everything we want to do. And thirdly is our child. People go, child? Yeah, a lot of your child personality has been developed when you were a little kid by your family and your community. How did they treat you? Did you feel perhaps you're angry? Were you heard? Were you seen? Were you abandoned? All of those energy traits will teach you how you handle your pain. And lastly, if I could find on my list, is the sabotager. Everybody sabotages themselves. There are things that we know we're supposed to do, but somehow in the back of our head, unconsciously, we may not want to do what we are feeling. So we find ways of either postponing or delaying. How, again, by masking the pain, we mask our pains every place we go, especially, I would say, in a work environment or I could call, or with your in-laws or anybody that you feel uncomfortable. And just notice how your energy shifts when you're in an event that you are feeling you don't want to go to. And also just feeling, you could feel it boiling inside of you and you may end up feeling really angry. So what happens is with this energy, I gotta get some water. So with this energy, not only is it boiling inside of you, but it's also radiating out of your body into your aura. And your aura is your personal energy field where it's like a bubble. We have this bubble all around us. Read people's energy all the time. I always give an example. People say, well, I don't read people's energy. Yes, you do. Think about it. If you're at home and you have a family member come home from a day's event, without that person saying something, I'm quite sure you could feel when that person is angry, they're mad, and even though they didn't say a word, you're feeling their energy. So one of the things that we could do to protect ourselves is we can witness what is going on with them. We don't have to absorb their energy. Believe it or not, even if they're our children, we don't have to absorb their energy. We could sit and listen to what their needs are and what is going on, and hopefully help to guide them. What happens to us when pain becomes trapped? Unfortunately, this leaves holes in our aura and our energy field, and we actually, instead of recycling our energy in us, we leak it out. So those days when you're feeling exceptionally tired and drained, more times than not, your energy is depleted, especially if you are meeting with friends or been with friends who are constantly venting. They're talking at you, but they're not talking with you. You might feel exceptionally tired at the end of your evening. And you're drained, and your friend is going, oh my gosh, I feel so good. And another thing, too, about trapped pain. Everybody has defective DNA. We have genetic disposition that gets passed down from generation to generation. And one of the things that I notice people do, especially if there is an illness that runs in a family, it's like, well, also we're waiting to get sick. In my family, we have diabetes and thyroid condition. Out of my 2 brothers and 2 sisters, I'm the oldest of 5. 2/3 to 3/4 of us have one of both conditions. I have been very blessed. I do not have diabetes, but I have to be very careful with my numbers. And my brother one time said to me, he says, Helen, it's going to be your turn to become a diabetic. And I said to him, looked at him and said, no, I don't think so. I don't believe that. And he says, why not? And I said, well, because of the work that I do, I know what is running in my body. I know where my energy is deficient and excessive. So I have learned how to modulate my energy so where it's not deficient or excessive. I try to somewhere be in the middle. Most people have absolutely no idea what this concept is really, I have a way of modulating my energy. Yes, you do. You really do. It's just a matter of awareness, living a mindful life, and learning how to connect to your body.
Catch the second part of how you can break your sick cycle coming up soon.
Give us a like and subscribe to our channel and press on the bell icon for new videos.